welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing a makeup tutorial for beginners. I'm going to take you step by step on how you can achieve this look. I'm also going to provide you with some tips and tricks. So if you're interested in learning, keep watching. So you want to start any makeup routine with a moisturizer. Whether you have normal, dry, oily skin, you need to make sure that you're applying some sort of moisturizer before any makeup application. I personally have normal to oily skin, so I don't like anything that's too thick and heavy that's going to apply more oil to my skin. So a brand that I've been using for a while is called Acwell. I found it when I was living in Asia. It's super light, but it gives me that base that I need for full coverage. And again, good skin starts with good skincare. So I'm just going to apply a little bit and simply rub it all over my skin. You also want to make sure that you get your neck too, and just rub it all in and you are good to go. There you go. All right. The primer is a crucial point that I oftentimes think people who are new to makeup might miss because they don't know the benefit of primer as it is. So I'm here to share that with you. Primer, if you can think about it, is like when you are applying paint to a wall, you first need to apply a primer. Same applies to makeup. You want to have a smooth base. You want to have even smoothness across your face. So a primer is going to give you that effect before applying anything on top of it. It really acts as a barrier between your natural skin and the makeup that you're going to apply. The primer that I've been using lately is the Becca Evermatte Poreless Priming Perfector. I just have really liked the way that it goes on and it leaves me with a really smooth base. So there's different ways you can apply primer, whether it's with a brush or with your fingertips. I personally like to use my fingertips. That way I know exactly where it's being placed on my skin. So what I do is just put a little bit on my fingertip. You want to make sure you just have enough, probably about that much, and you basically rub it in. But the one thing to note is you don't want to rub it in like a moisturizer. You can see I'm also tapping. So just make sure that you're not rubbing it in entirely. And you will already quickly be able to feel like a smooth base. And there you go. Now, one additional trick that I like to use because I have normal to oily skin is add setting powder on top of my primer before applying foundation. So you can use any setting powder that you have, so basically any loose powder. And also you can use a brush, or I like to use this Laura Mercier puff. So the idea is that you simply put a little all around your face as such, and you just pat it in. Now again, you won't even see this, but this just is going to help absorb any oil that might accumulate throughout the day. Just a little trick. Now I might look a little crazy right now, but you'll shortly see that you won't even see this. And you'll just leave it like that. Now the foundation is a crucial step in the makeup application because you want to make sure that you have a shade that is closest to your skin tone. If you go too light, you're gonna look very washed out. If you go too dark, you're just not gonna have your natural look and it's not gonna match the rest of your neck, shoulders, and everything else. So how to color match? You want to find a color by matching it to your neck. I don't recommend matching it to the back of your hand, but to your neck. When it comes to choosing your foundation, I know that it can be a little overwhelming because there are so many options and being new to the makeup world can be a little stressful. So I wanted to just share with you a few pointers. If you are looking for a coverage that is still gonna show your natural skin, so it's gonna show your freckles, your moles, things like that, then you want to look for keywords that have light, lightweight, tint, sheer, things of that nature, because it's still going to go on and give you a nice even tone, but you're still going to show your natural kind of skin tone. When it comes to medium and full coverage, medium coverage in my opinion is one of the most common because it's buildable, meaning that you can add as much or as little as you'd like to get it to exactly the look and feel that you desire. Full coverage is a lot heavier, thicker consistency. It's gonna cover up every blemish that you have on your face. So do keep that in mind when you're deciding what works best for you. Now, today's video, I'm gonna be using one of my favorite medium coverage foundations, and it's the Makeup Forever Ultra D in R520. I've been using this for quite some time and I really just like how I can build upon it, like I said, but also how the finish looks. When it comes to application and how to apply your foundation, there are different ways that you can choose. And again, it's entirely up to you. One common one is a beauty blender, also known as a sponge. You'd want to dampen it and be able to basically press the foundation into your skin. Another option is to have a dense foundation brush. Dense means that it's going to help to evenly distribute the foundation all over your entire face. I personally like to use a foundation brush. That's just my preference because I feel like I have more control of how it's being distributed on my skin. You can apply the foundation directly on your skin if you'd like. I don't like that because I feel like it's just dripping down my skin. Other people put it on their fingers and put dots and then spread out that way. I personally like to put about 3 to 4 pumps on the back of my palm. Then I use my brush. And then I basically put little dots everywhere with the actual foundation and really start to blend it in. There's no particular way that I do it. I know some people do one side and then the other. Make sure you get your ears too and under your chin. And then onto my forehead. And of course, if you need more, you simply just add more to the back of your palm. Make sure you also get your eyebrows, if you have not done them yet, of course, and your eyelids. Ideally, you just want to make it look very even across your entire face. And there you go. All right. I could apply a little bit more, but I think we are okay for now. That's the great thing, as I mentioned, of being a medium coverage. It is buildable. All right. When you choose to apply your eyebrows, it's an entirely personal preference. I just like to do it after my foundation. That's always been my routine. You can, of course, do it at the beginning, the end. It does not matter as long as you do them to the extent that you'd like them to look. There are different ways that you can apply. You can use pencil, you can use brow pomade, you can just use brow gel. I like to use what they call a mechanical crayon-like tip. You can see here, these are 2 Anastasia Beverly Hills. One is a little more triangular and one is pointier. On the other end, they have spolian brushes, so it's a great way to help blend the product into my eyebrows. So I'm gonna show you and walk you through how I do my eyebrows. I know that doing eyebrows can be a little bit tricky, especially if you are new to the makeup world. So a couple tips I did wanna share with you. First thing, eyebrows are sisters, not twins. So do remember that they do not need to be perfectly symmetrical, identical to each other. They are sisters. Another thing, when it comes to symmetry, you wanna make sure, use anything that you might have and place it on the side of your nose. You wanna make sure that that eyebrow does not go any further to past this line here. So for you, you can absolutely put a little mark, whatever the case is going to help you. The same applies for outside, the outside corner. You wanna make sure that nothing goes farther past that line as well. Thirdly, have a light hand. The lighter your hand is, the better that you can build upon it. So if you just do a couple strokes, brush it out, do a couple strokes, brush it out, that is going to help you not only get to the look and feel that you want, but it's going to just be a lot easier to fix in the sense that you're adding more than having to remove. First, I like to go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in Ebony I was showing you before. And what I like to first do is make a line on the under part of my eyebrow. I'm using light strokes, and I will keep doing this until I see a line formed. As such. There you go. And then I'll move on to the top of my eyebrow and create that arch. And you want to connect the end over here and do the same in the front. I do like to keep a little bit of the front untouched. So I go to about there on the top. And I keep doing this until I get that shape that I'm looking for. All right, there you have it. So I have now the outline of my eyebrow created. Now I'm gonna move on to the brow definer. Brow definer is also Anastasia Beverly Hills in Ebony, and it was the one with the triangular tip. I'm gonna use this one more to fill in the actual brow itself. So you'll see it's the exact same color as the outline, so it all blends very well together. I just do a few strokes, use the spoilie. And you just keep doing this until you get to the look that you want. I like to be very light in the front, even just very subtle. And then I use this to brush it out. And sometimes I go back to the other brow wiz as well until I get to exactly what I want. All right. What I'm gonna do now, clean it up a little bit off camera and do the other one, and then I'm gonna come back and show you the final steps of the eyebrow process. Okay, I am back. Eyebrows are done. The last thing I like to do before I move on to the next step is just clean up the eyebrow area a little bit. Now, it's not a required step, but I feel like it makes it just look a little more cleaner and crisp. So what I like to do is go on with a concealer. I'm using today my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. I also use this under my eyes. And what I do is just basically put a few little drops right under each eye. And then I'm using what I have available right now. I'm using this angled brush. This is actually an e.l.f. angled brush. And what I'm going to do is simply just brush it in and somewhat create that arch under it like I did at the very first step. And I'm just blending in the concealer, as you can see here. And it also is a great way to kind of give a highlight to the eye area as well. So I'm gonna just keep doing that. There you go. The same I'm gonna do on this side, create somewhat of an arch, blend it in as such. There you go. And for me, I feel like it just gives like a cleaner look. You also can do the top. I'm not gonna do the top today because I don't think it's necessary, but I do feel like it just provides more of detail and a cleaner look. So like I said, it's not a requirement. It's just an additional tip or trick that you might wanna try as you get into the makeup routine. All right, on to concealer. One of my favorite parts of the makeup routine. In fact, I recently did a reviews and impressions video on 5 Black-owned beauty brand concealers. I will have that link in this video for you for easy reference. Concealer is used to highlight areas of your face, so you wanna make sure the color that you choose is at least 2 to 3 shades lighter than your foundation. I personally like to use my everyday NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Amande, so I'm just gonna go in and conceal areas that I like to highlight on my face. I like to go under my eyes in a triangular manner, like this. I'll do the same on the other side. I'm also gonna go down my nose and a little on my forehead. You can, of course, do your chin, which is common, and your cupid's bone, but I think this is enough for a beginner. So how do you apply it? Now there's different ways. You can use a concealer brush, or you can use a sponge. I particularly like to use the beauty blender, a damp beauty blender at that. And so I already have gone ahead and dampened it with some water. I'm gonna go in and basically you want to tap. You wanna do this for all of your face until it's fully blended. And you wanna make sure that there's no defined lines where you can see the concealer as it goes into the foundation. I'm gonna do this here. You can already see that the skin, the areas with the concealer are essentially highlighted. And there you go. You can keep blending a little bit. Now that we've applied the concealer, we need to set it in place. So I'm going to use a setting powder. This is a Sasha Buttercup setting powder. And how I like to apply it is with a sponge. Not a beauty blender, but just another sponge that I have. And what I really like about this one is that it has a really pointy tip, so I can get very close to the inner tear duct. So what I do is place a little bit on the lid, as you can see here. Then I will take that sponge, dip it in there a bit, and then you have your product. And I will just go in and tap on areas that I have applied concealer. Do the same for the other side. And just know it's not permanent, so it's okay if it's messy. It's okay if it doesn't go on like extremely evenly. I'm gonna do this little area as well, not as much, and then down my nose. Once you've let it set in place for a few moments, you can then take a large brush of sorts. I'm just gonna use this one that I had in my stash right here, and you're simply just going to brush it away. And you're just gonna do that for all your areas. Keep doing that. One thing I've noticed is that if you keep it on too long and you take pictures, you're definitely gonna notice that kind of area, that glow, and it's not cute. So do try to make sure that you get off all of the excess area as you can. Okay, and there you have it. Now onto eyes. I'm gonna keep it very simple. I'm going to be applying this Bobbi Brown Black Ink Longwear Gel Eyeliner, and also going to be using this MAC 266 angled brush. So I'm gonna dip my angled brush into the pod. And for me, I like to hold my eye a little bit, and I'm simply just going to stroke, little strokes here and there, until you get the look that you want. And there you have it. I didn't want it to be too thick, but enough. So I'm gonna do the other one now. And I feel like with gel eyeliner, they go on very smoothly. And you can put as much or as little as you want. You can also wing out the ends. You can do a lot with gel eyeliner. The great thing too about gel eyeliner is that if you make a mistake, all you need to do is take a wet Q-tip and go in, and it'll essentially just come off on its own. So it makes it very simple. Now on to lashes. Typically I wear lash extensions, but as you can see, I don't have any on. So I'm going to be applying mascara. First, I like to apply my Photo Finish Lash Primer Smashbox. I just think the primer accentuates the lashes, spreads them out, elongates them in preparation for mascara. You'll see that it goes on white, but it does dry clear. And you can already see like how it elongates the lashes. I'm gonna do the same over here. And then you just wanna let it sit for a few moments. Now I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Falsies Lash Lift Mascara. and just apply it on top of the primer. And you'll see that they're fairly long. There you go. I'm gonna do this for both eyes. I like more long and full type of lashes. So depending on your preference, you obviously want to get a certain mascara that fulfills that need. But for me, sometimes I use 1 or 2 different mascaras. But for today, I'm just going to be using this one and try to apply a little bit more until I get it the way that I want it. I also like to do the bottom lashes. Of course, that's optional, but I like that whole look. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Just a little bit. Nothing too drastic, but I do like the bottom lashes to have a little bit of color on them. And I do this instead of eyeliner on the bottom, especially for an everyday look. Now I'm going to do some contouring. The great thing about contouring is that it's going to warm up the face and bring back some of the color that we lost when we were applying the concealer earlier. Also, it's going to give your face dimension. You do want to go 2 to 3 shades darker. So today I'm using the Fenty Beauty Cocoa Naughty, and I'm also using the 120 highlight brush. So I'm going to go right in, and one trick is to just create 3s on your face. So you want to just make it a 3. So you're touching your forehead, your cheekbone, and then your jawline. And then you're just gonna do the same for the other side. I also like to go down my nose. Now onto blush. When it comes to applying blush, you want to focus on the apples of your cheeks. You also want to make sure that you're going in the direction towards your ear. So today I'm going to be using Marina Butte in Sweet Brown, and I'm also going to be using a MAC 129 brush. So I'm going to put a little bit into the pan, and I like to smile, and you just want to apply it onto those cheekbones. The great thing also about blush is that if you do put on too much, all you need to do is get a clean brush and just use that brush to blend out the harsh edges of the blush that you have on your face. I like using highlighter because it kind of gives a glow, luminous look to your face, and it kind of just completes the whole look. So today I'm using Becca Chocolate Geode, and I'm also just using a Sigma highlighter brush. So when it comes to highlighter, you just want to apply it to certain areas and you don't want to apply too much. So I'm just going to pat it into the pan, and I like to apply it on the cheekbones as well down my nose a little bit. So I'm just going to go like this. And you want to be very light-handed when it comes to this, because like I said, too much could make you look a little too glowy. And if it's a little too much, I often go with my finger and just wipe off a little bit. There you can see it. For lips, I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm not even going to apply lip liner. I'm not doing anything drastic. In fact, I'm only going to be using MAC Plumful and my NCLA Beauty Balm Babe in Matcha Tea, which is a lip balm. So I'm going to apply the lip balm first, just a little bit. And then I'm going to go in with Plumful and dab it on my lips. By dabbing it, it's still going to be applied, but it's going to be very light. So as you can see, it does give a little bit of color, very light, very subtle, which is what I was going for. The last and final step is applying a setting spray. Today I'm using the Urban Decay D-Slick, and all you want to do is spray all over your face. It's also quite refreshing. You want to let it dry a little bit and then you are good to go. All right guys, so there you have it. This is the final look. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned some things, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel. Also, if you plan on doing this tutorial on your own, do let me know in the comments below, as I'd love to know. And of course, as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.